What
Please
about
tell me
you?
you love Whataburger.
I don't. I actually really don't. I think that's the funniest thing that I always talk about with my friends. They always shit on me because they're like, "How do you like In-N-Out more than a Whataburger?" But I'm just like,
Wait,
"Yo, it's
wait,
actually like
wait, 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 wait,
that's the truth,
wait,
bro.
wait. I am about to fight you right now.
Bro, that's the truth, bro."
Are you kidding me? You are sitting
uh,
in Houston right now
I
talking about
know.
how In-N-Out is better than Whataburger.
Okay, look. The Whataburger, the patty melt's bomb. I can give it that. But I've gotten the burgers when I was like younger, and I don't know if it was just like whack every time I got it, but I was like, yo, these patties are mad thin.
Granted, granted, if you order chicken, you are holding up the whole Whataburger line for at least 2 hours. But that's
Got
you
you.
know it's fresh.
True. I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
Keshi, what's happening? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm working. I was actually just working on a track for the album.
Mhm.
I'm like 90% done with it. And that's the most frustrating thing, but also like the most exciting part of the process when it's there and you're just like it's actually quite fun. You're like wrangling with it, you know?
When,
Go
no, I
on.
was going to say, when you say you're frustrated, is it you're frustrated because you want it to come out already? You just want people to hear it? Why are you frustrated?
Frustrated because the songs within your fingertips grasp of being done.
Mhm.
And you've heard it unfinished for so long, and it's about to be real, and you're about to be able to like export it into your phone and listen to it in the car for 6 months until it actually comes out for everybody else. But like I just love the feeling of chasing the song.
Mhm.
um because for I feel like getting started is probably the hardest part, because you don't know if the idea is good or not. But if you're 90% done, like the idea is there, the melody's there, you just gotta like, you know, play Sudoku with your head for a little bit, find what fits perfectly. It's just like half of a verse and then I'm done.
Is there a little anxiety going on in there right now?
Um, you know what? There was a lot going into starting the record.
Mhm.
But now that it's over halfway finished and I have a clear vision of what it's supposed to be, like the road's there. I just gotta like take that path. So no anxiety anymore. I think it's more about timeline and hoping that I get there on time. But it's not like, oh my God, like what is it gonna be? Like I have a vision now.
Are you the type of person that will listen to said song in the car, right? And then go back to the studio and be like, we need to change this. I don't like the way how it sounds in the car. Is that you?
Right. Everything is correct except for the we part because I do everything by myself.
Hmm.
Um, except for the fact that a lot of this record is actually co-produced with a producer that I met in LA.
Hmm.
So the process for this record was such that I would go to LA for 10 days and just like throw a bunch of shit against the wall and try to get tons of ideas so I could take home and write to them by myself. I didn't want to slam my head on one idea for 5 days with him while I had him. I wanted to get as many ideas as I could. Once I got home, I would write it. And the thing is, I know my way around the audio workstation, so like I can just tweak things if I need to. But yeah, like I'll hear things in the song, like in the car, and I'll be like, after listening about like 10 times, I'll think, okay, this has popped in my ear so frequently, it needs to change. But it's usually never a mix thing. It's more of a writing thing.
So when you're writing a song, right, what are some of the things that I guess pop into your head, or what do you use to actually start the whole process in writing a song?
The first thing is always chords. Chords are really important to me. They lay a foundation of where the melody can sit,
Hmm.
and like the producer I met in LA, he's always about like, the chords could be anything. It's more about, the lyrics and the melody that matter and how you use it. But I feel like the whole process becomes so much easier if the chords are interesting. Voicing is really interesting because you could play a C chord 20 different kinds of ways, and it leads. I'm a little bit of a theory nerd, but I'm not like super into it. I'm just a little bit into it. So yeah, definitely chords. Definitely which instrument I'm using. If I'm using a classical guitar or like electric guitar or a piano or an electric piano or a ukulele, for instance, like there's tons of different palettes that you start on, and that's like your bread and butter, and then you build from there.
So can you play all of those instruments that are in your room right now?
Yeah. So I have my Nord over here. I have my console piano back there. I have like a little guitar lele and then like four other guitars that are like, oh no, that one of them's a bass. So
Mhm.
yeah, self-taught is the way to go.
You did?
Yeah,
When
self-taught.
did you teach yourself?
I taught myself guitar when I was like 12 or 13. Like I picked it up when I was really young, and I fell in love with John Mayer, and I just watched all of his videos and listened to all of his records and just taught myself like what chords and what places on the fretboard he likes to reside. And for a long time I made like acoustic bass singer-songwriter music for years, but like it just wasn't, I wanted something more and I didn't know what that more was. The more was creating an artist,
Mhm.
which is different than just writing songs. I wanted to create something that could convince people, you know? So the missing factor was that I need to learn how to produce because I didn't, know anyone who could do that. I was like in my room, in my dorm room in college, thinking like, how do people on the radio sound like that? Like, how do they get the hi-hats to be like so perfect and fast? And I thought that they played them live, I didn't
Mhm.
realize like the drums are programmed and stuff. I was like, well, I wonder if GarageBand can do that. So then I looked into it. I just pressed one button and the key roll popped up and then my world changed. I was like, oh, like that's how you do it. You just punch it in. And then yeah, I taught myself how to produce. And that's when Keshi was kind of made, when I started learning how to produce. And I made a SoundCloud and everything, and the rest is history.
That's amazing. So you talk about, just learning how to play really early. So what was it that bit you? Like when did you fall in
Right.
love with music?
It was so my parents didn't listen to a lot of music around the house growing up. It wasn't like radio, and they didn't really play records around the house. It was my first exposure was when I watched a sitcom on Nickelodeon called Drake and Josh, and Drake Bell played a character who like played the guitar and got all the girls, and that made a really strong impression on a young middle school me. And I was like, I want to be like that. But it wasn't until I found John Mayer by accident. I heard a song on Pandora called "Stop This Train" that just changed my world of like what music can do. It just moved me so much. Um, and I was like, wow, like I want to make songs that can move people. So that's when I wanted to start writing songs. That's when I wanted to be a songwriter. Yeah.
So fast forward, you go to college. What did you go to college for?
I went to college for nursing. I studied nursing for 4 years. I graduated in 17, and
Hmm.
then I worked in the Houston Med Center for 2 years as an oncology nurse. So that's a cancer flora, and I hung chemotherapy. And I started Keshi back probably like 20, I want to say my sophomore year of college, so like 2015. And it was super small, and I never pushed it on anyone. I just let people discover it on their own because it wasn't supposed to be anything more than like a random SoundCloud account to me. And fast forward a couple years, I just kept on uploading things regularly to Keshi that I thought was of a certain quality.
Hmm.
And about a year into working the nursing job, stuff started to really pick up.
At what point when you're, nursing and doing that difficult job work that, in the oncology, when you were like, I'm done with this, let me focus on,
Right.
at what point?
Right. So my manager was actually on board with me probably at that time, like the year into nursing is when he found me online.
Hmm.
And he was begging me to quit. He was like, please, for the love of God, just quit so you can focus on the music full time. And I was afraid. I was like, no, like what are the chances that I'm gonna be able to pop out of the crowd?
Hmm.
I think it was a matter of believing in myself. Um, and I had kind of tricked myself into thinking that um like I could do both and that I was happy at my job when I was actually miserable. So it wasn't until I started having some serious flights to New York that I started thinking like, wow, this is maybe doable. Definitely had a lot of fights, a couple fights with my parents about it,
Hmm.
about going part-time. So going down from 3 days to 2 days. So I could have a little bit more time to work on music, but
Because
they're
those are
basically
12-hour shifts, right?
those are 12-hour shifts. That's right. So I worked 36 hours in a week. And basically what happened was that I had gone part-time, and even part-time I still wasn't happy. And I had a terrible day at work, just a straw that broke the camel's back, and I kind of broke down. And I had to get called to my manager's office, and she's like, what's going on? Like, and I hadn't told anyone that I was going to New York every week to go have meetings. I'll go to New York for 3 days, and then I'll come back and work for 3 days, and then go back to New York.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And next day, I had no deal, by the way. Nothing was guaranteed. I just had a terrible day. Next day, turned in my resignation letter. I was like, here you go. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then the next week, I flew out to New York to go sign to Island. So
Were they surprised when you turned in your resignation?
it was the funniest thing because my manager thought that the conversation that she had with me the day before had like pushed me over the edge to quit, as if she had done something wrong.
Right,
But
right.
like that was like not the case like at all.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think they were kind of surprised. I didn't really tell anyone that I was going, like I mentioned. I told like a few people here and there. But I don't think anyone actually expected for it to get to this point. The last person being me. So yeah.
Think about it. You are so talented. Like all those instruments that you play in your room, you produced
Thank
yourself.
you.
You taught at such a young age. Like it's almost like it was meant to be when you think about it.
Right. Right. It is. I feel like hindsight is often 2020, and but I don't want to be. You don't want to be arrogant, you know.
I get that.
But at a certain point, um, you have to take that jump. And I remember I would spend my work days like after I got my work done, I would be on like the computer. Like nurses have these computers. They call it cows, like computers on wheels.
Hmm.
And we'd be standing and I would search up like what are the chances of success? Like what are the chances of signing to a record label? You know, like what are the chances, blah blah blah. And all these like phony ass like articles would be written and they would say like, yeah, less than 1% of people who sign like succeed, blah blah blah. And then I remember telling myself like, yeah, I'm that less than 1%. Like I'm gonna do this, you know. So yeah.
Look, fast forward to Besides You. I was listening to it earlier today. It's such a great song. You got
Thank you.
I was reading 6 million streams worldwide in the first week.
Yeah, it was nuts. Nuts. Yeah.
That has
I've
to be
never
humbling.
I've never had that sort of response on a track before. And the funniest thing is that like when I was writing it, like I didn't think it was gonna be like that big of a song. I thought it was definitely gonna be like a track that was gonna be tucked away somewhere um after I released it. But the reception has been so crazy, and it just kind of goes to show like the artist doesn't always know best. You know, the audience at the end of the day, they're smarter than you, and they get to decide, you know, what they want to listen to. So I appreciate all the love on the track.
So, for someone who hasn't heard the song, how would you describe that to someone?
A summery, playful, and fun bop that you just throw on when you're hanging out, like at the pool or like on the beach. You know, that's how I first saw it when I was listening to it.
Yeah, I feel like I love songs that are like summery feel songs that you can listen to with the windows
Right.
down. You know what I mean? Driving
Exactly.
along the coast and just like vibing out
Yeah.
to the song. That's how I would describe it.
Exactly.
Also,
Hell yeah.
what's your favorite thing about making music?
My favorite thing about making music. It's a really interesting question. I haven't gotten that in a long time. I think now, because it changed, it always changed. When you first start out learning and everything, your favorite thing is like unlocking a new door, which is like for the guitar, like you learn how to play the F chord, which is like a really challenging point that a lot of beginners like run into. Or the piano, like you learn how to transfer keys over, like from you're playing in the key of C, how does that translate to the key of E? So it was the learning aspect to me. But as the music making turned into a job, I had to find I had to make music making fun again.
Hmm.
I lost it for a little bit. I got to be honest with you. Because Keshi was supposed to be a space where I would just explore my creativity
An outlet.
without yeah, an outlet without being under the scrutiny of anyone listening. And that was so freeing to me. And then as soon as all this attention came in, I was suddenly pressured like this sounds kind of cliche, but I was in this weird in between. I'm like, what does my A&R want to hear? What does my audience want to hear? What does my manager want to hear? But it was never about like what I wanted to make, you know. So the first, you know, for a long time I kind of battled with that. But I think that with this album, I'm finally kind of figuring out a compromise between all those things. And I'm really stoked to show it off. So right now, the most enjoyable part of music for me is just making a new track and like listening to it myself. Like I just want to make stuff that I want to listen to personally.
And I feel like people will gravitate towards that. Like they can feel that.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
What does the end of 2021, early 2022 look like for Keshi?
It looks like new music, and it hopefully looks like shows, depending on how things are looking. I think that everybody is itching to play shows. A lot of my contemporaries who I've hung out with in LA always told me that they're dying to get back on the road, and how a lot of things were halted by the whole situation. But I hadn't had the chance to lose something like that yet because it was so early for me at the time. I hadn't gotten the chance like know how it feels to like miss out on a world tour that was supposed to go on, so I am stoked to hopefully get back on the road depending on how things get.
If you can say one thing to those people that streamed besides you and got it to 6 million streams, what would you say to them?
I would say thank you so much for all of the love and support. I'm so grateful that you guys even took a chance and listened to the song. If you're new, if you're old, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I hope that you're stoked for the record. And if you like the music, stick around for the album.
And the album, when is that coming?
We are not sure yet. It's definitely in the works, but we don't have a release date yet. But we'll keep you posted for sure.
Listen, it was a pleasure and it was an honor to chat with you. I thought we were going to have to fight in the beginning, but I see your point.
Dude, no.
I appreciate it.
People get heated. All right, thank you, bro.